Blab show, we had some technical difficulties, so we had to move over to Hangout. But my guest is so gracious, she's joining us. So my name is Aya Brandy, and I am the Chief Profit Strategist at IABrandy.com. So today we're going to be talking to the wonderful and great Maggie Lenore. So first, let me tell you a little bit about Maggie because, I mean, Maggie is awesome and she needs no introduction, but I'm going to just give you just a snippet about her. Talking to the wonderful and great Maggie Lenore. So first, let me tell you, Maggie is the Chief Thought Innovator and the founder of the Cascade Avenue Group. She is a branding and marketing company, She helps entrepreneurs dominate their niche market. Maggie has been published over 125 times. That's quite a bit. So this woman knows what she's talking about. In both print magazines, and she was also named by both Better Homes and Garden magazine as the top pinner, and she was featured twice in the Pinterest feature email. So without further ado, I'm going to let Maggie say hi to everyone. And then we're going to go through some, Pinterest marketing questions, and she's going to give us the juice, the good stuff, so that we know how to bring our brand out on Pinterest. So hi, Maggie. Thank you for being patient.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me. I'm going to let you guys know in advance that I'm fighting bronchitis, so I'll probably be clearing my throat quite a bit. So thank you so much for inviting me. I am so excited to be here and talking about my favorite thing in the whole wide world.
Wow.
That's Pinterest.
And that's great because we definitely have a lot of questions. So I'm going to start with the first question is, what is Pinterest?
Wow, that is a very deep subject for us to start with. But I will tell you, Pinterest is really not a social media platform, as you have seen in several different places. You're going to see a lot of people talking about Pinterest and telling you that it's a social media platform that you should go and like everything underneath the sun and leave comments and so on.
Yes.
So every time I see those and I hear those, I just start laughing. I cannot help it because it's quite a comedy for me when I see those, because what they're doing is they are giving you information that is so old modalities that really doesn't work. This information started back in the early 2010 when people didn't know what Pinterest was. So they assumed that it was a social media platform. So every time that you hear somebody says it's the newest social media platform, I can guarantee you that they are reading Mashable from 2010. So
wow.
Is really not a social media. What is Pinterest? Pinterest really is, as Ben Silverman, excuse me, who is the founder of Pinterest, says that it is a catalog of ideas. So what Pinterest really is, it's a place where people go in to be inspired, to find things that they didn't even know exist.
Yes.
And not only that, but to save things that inspire. So here's my analogy about Pinterest. When you go to Twitter, Twitter is about what's happening right now. So I'm probably at the store, I'm probably at Starbucks, which is everyone's favorite place, getting coffee. And then they're like, well, I'm at Starbucks, I'm in line, I'm waiting to get coffee.
Yes.
And then on Facebook, you go in and say, well, this is what's been happening. I went to this show, I am in the theater, blah, 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 and all that stuff. But with Pinterest, what makes Pinterest so different, and this is the reason why I love this platform, I've never been so into a platform before as I am with Pinterest. Pinterest is where you go and you put things that are of value to you, things that you're going to be working on for later on.
Yes.
Things that inspire you. So there's two types of people on Pinterest. There's people that are currently using Pinterest, but they are looking at things that they didn't know exist that inspire them for a better life. So 90% of the people that you see on Pinterest, they are curating things that are really of importance to them. So it's really a place to go be inspired. So when you see an article that's saying that you need to go to Pinterest so you can leave comments and follow a gazillion people with the hope that they're going to be following you, you just start laughing. It's like, oh my gosh, they read that Mashable article from 2010 and they're using it as the Bible. So that's my take on what Pinterest is.
That's amazing. I just use it too. I use it for a vision board, but I also use it for personal reasons. I never knew how to use it for business. That's definitely primitive. My next question is, why did you select Pinterest for your marketing platform with all, like you mentioned Twitter, you mentioned Facebook. Why Pinterest?
Okay, so I discovered Pinterest. I was at an event in Utah in Salt Lake City. So as we all know, the story about that, the biggest categories on Pinterest is crafts and DIY, home decor, and so on.
Yes.
There's a reason for that. When Pinterest came out back in 2010, it was in beta. I joined Pinterest when there were only like 200 users. So I met Ben Silberman at that conference. I was supposed to be speaking at the conference, and then I got they told me that they're gonna have to replace me because they had this guy who had this really fabulous um, platform that they think would be really great for the craft industry. So I sat there and I listened to him, and I'm like, I was blown away, and I'm like, oh my God, this thing is caboodle on steroids. So after I heard about it and he talked, I went and talked to him and asked him what does he want to do with it. And from what he was telling me, that he wanted it to be the best place for you to come in and use it
Yes.
as your favorites, to replace
Yes.
the favorites. And I at that point I looked at it and I'm like, okay, so what are the categories? So he told me the categories were going to be food, DIY, crafting, because I was a big crafter at the time, travel, and food. So these are all categories that represent every single portion of my life. I went
Yes.
to culinary school. Well, I didn't graduate in culinary school, but I went to culinary school. I travel. I've been to so many countries in the world. I've been to at least 58 countries in the world. Every single one of these categories on Pinterest reflected a part of my life, a journey of my life. So Pinterest became the reflection of my memoir. So
That's
instead of writing a book, Pinterest became my memoir. So I was able to relate with what Pinterest was going to be. So all my experience about Pinterest are hands-on experience. So they are not from Mashable. They are not all modalities that we teach you in the Pinterest coaching program. Everything we teach you is things that have happened, all the trial and error.
Yes.
I've done that for you. So what I'm doing is really teaching you about the shortcuts and how to maximize yourself, your time, and your business on Pinterest. So that's the reason why Pinterest is the platform for me, because it reflects my life journey.
That's great. So we have two questions from two guests. And then we're gonna go more. You know what? Let's skip we'll get to the questions towards the end. Talk a little bit about some of the mistakes that you see people. Have you done Pinterest ads? I should ask first.
Okay. Pinterest introduced the ad platform a year ago, and it's still in beta. Not everyone has access to it.
Yes.
One of the number one things that I see that people are making, they are using the ad platform the same way that they're using Facebook.
Okay.
Aspect of it, you should be using it, but they are filling it up with hashtags, and then they're getting rejected. And the reason why is because, so let's talk about hashtag for a moment. Hashtag is really great on Twitter, and it's really great to bring the conversation. But as I explained to you earlier, that Pinterest is really not a social media platform. It's a curating platform where you go and curate things. So yes, there is the social part of it where you can send things to your friends, you can share things and so on. But it's not the type of place where you go in and congregate with your friends and start chit-chatting. However, you can collaborate with different people on different things, and I'll get to that later. But however, when you're doing your ads, you do not want to be filling it up with hashtags. What's going to happen is you want that your ad to really be in the forefront of your ideal clients. So when you fill it up with so many hashtags, one is going to get rejected. And then the second thing, if you use just one hashtag, what's going to happen is once you have that hashtag in, what it does, it brings up all the other conversations that's going on. So do you really want your ideal clients to be getting distracted with other conversations that's going on? So my philosophy is do not use hashtag, and I've been very successful with not using hashtag. So that's the number one mistake that I see that entrepreneurs are doing on Pinterest because of the fact that they are treating it like it's a Facebook, which
Okay.
once you understand that it's not Facebook, it's a platform in itself with its own identity, its own lingo, then it becomes a different.
Okay. So let's get to two of the question. Marva from Facebook wants to know, how do you connect with your target audience on Pinterest? Which is similar to what you talked a little bit about it, but to get a little bit deeper to let her know, like, how do you connect with the target audience on your target audience on Pinterest?
Whoa, that's another deep subject again. So, well, here's the first thing is, in order for you to connect with your ideal clients, you have to know who that ideal client is. So I'm gonna give you an example. You are okay. Do I have your example? Because I know what you're working on.
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So you're coming up with a program. The program that you're working with, it's going to be targeting moms.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you didn't know who your target market is, who your ideal client is, let's say, for instance, you're going to be working with moms that just give birth. Okay, let's say most of your target market has given birth 2 weeks ago. So somebody who's just given birth 2 weeks ago, a new mom, and you're trying to send them information about a giveaway to go to New Zealand to go look at the coral reefs. Well, obviously it's not gonna go well because I don't know any woman who just gave birth 2 weeks ago is gonna want to go on an adventure to go to the coral reefs like that.
Very true.
Okay, so therefore you're not talking their language because that's not really what they need. What they really need, a new mom, what they really need is to know more information about, well, my baby have colic and not sleeping at nighttime. What do I do? So when you send information directly that really solve their problems, then you're talking to your ideal client and your target market. But in order for you to know who that person is, you have to do some research first. So the first thing is figure out who it is that you want to serve. What kind of pain points do they have? What is it that you're solving for them? So for instance, like we talk about the new mom doesn't want to go on a coral reef adventure. She wants to know, how do I get my child not to hurt? How do I get my child to go to sleep at night? I mean, that's what I'll be thinking about. How do I get my child to go to sleep at night? So I can get some rest. So these are the things that you're talking about. Now, the other thing is like most people that I talk to, when I talk to my clients, when we get them on the coaching program, the first thing I ask them, who is it that you're talking to? And some of the time they'll say, well, I'm talking to retailers. I'm like, okay, so what kind of retailers are you talking to? Are you talking to candy shops? Are you talking to shoe stores? Are you talking to big box? So each one of those target markets, you're going to have a different conversation to go with them. So you cannot go in the middle of the ocean and put a net in, and then you put it up, and then you expect to have red snapper. It doesn't work this way. So you have to know who it is that you're talking to. Once you know who you are talking to, then when you go on Pinterest, it's very easy to have that conversation. So for a new mom, okay, we're sticking with the new mom. So for a new mom, she wants to know about what is the best diapers to be using. Okay. If that kid has a rash, she wants to know what to do and all that stuff. Well, what can you do? You can provide articles about if your child has a rash, here's the best remedy, and so on. Your child has colic, here's the best remedies, and so on. And then you can get some music, some soothing music that she can use when rocking the child. So at this point, you're really talking to her because at this point, father, it doesn't have to be a woman now. So it could be a new father and a new mother and all that stuff. Or it could be adopting. It doesn't matter. At this point, you just want to make sure that you're talking to them and giving them what exactly that they are needing. Yes. So that is the best way to go about talking. Now, once you know who it is that you're talking about, well, now, what does this person get into? So let's say, for instance, my friend Jason. Jason is into he's a foodie. He's into holistic and so on. Yes. You can put some videos on that talks about the different spices, different combo of spices. Let's say, for instance, there's some you find this video from Tunisia. They're using this really Zaire spice. Well, that's something that probably Jason has never heard of. So it will be of interest to him to hear about different spices from different countries, different part of the world. So you can curate that information for
But
him.
how does that connect to your brand? So let's go back to a second. So you are a coach who works with new moms, right?
Hmm.
Um, and you know, in the case, let's say for example, you work with new moms and maybe getting their body back. Maybe you're a health coach, right? And you help with them getting their body back. How does putting up about the baby colicky help you, or should you be focusing on maybe exercises to tone your stomach as a new mom? Or how do you get back in shape as a new mom? What should you be focusing on specifically in that order? Should you be focusing on just anything related to new moms, or should you be focusing on your specialty for new moms? Does that make sense?
Yes, it does make sense. So here it goes. At this point, you're going to figure out how many boards that you want to curate. So yes,
Okay.
you want to curate exercise. But at this point, is she thinking about exercise? I
Mhm.
personally know that I'm not thinking about exercise at this
Yeah.
point.
No, not in
But
the 2 weeks, but
but
yeah.
but yes, there's different type of people that does different things. So yes, you can go on and curate about exercise. You can curate about the child needs. You can curate about 5 ingredient meals,
Yes.
because at this point she's very busy. She has a brand new he has a brand new child, so there's
Mhm.
all kinds of things going on. So think about it. You are dealing with a person. That person has needs, that has
Mhm.
all kinds of things. So you're not dealing with a building. As a
Mhm.
person, that person, they go to the grocery store, they go to the doctor, they do all kinds of things. So providing that information for them, you are curating a well-round
Yes. That
for
makes
them.
sense. No, that completely makes sense.
Hmm.
So, last question from Bushra from Facebook. She wants to know, how can a newbie navigate Pinterest effectively? I kind of feel like we talked about it, but maybe you could just spend maybe like, just a few seconds just kind of addressing that. Like, if you're a newbie, you go on Pinterest, is this huge platform, you have a business, and you want to utilize this platform. What should you be doing? Like, give us 5 things or 5 steps you should do.
We're gonna go back again to whom are you talking to.
Okay.
So the first thing is to figure out who is your ideal target, your ideal client. And then once you know who that person is, then you're going to be doing your research. You find out, okay, what is this person into? So if this person is into yoga, then you will be providing some videos, some information about yoga. If
Okay.
this person is an online marketer, well, they're gonna need information about marketing. They are going to need some information about how to get their brands out there, how to be visible. There's a number of things that you can curate for them, but first you need to know exactly who that person is. Once you know who that person is, then at this point, then you will be able to create your boards. So I would suggest the first thing that you will need to do is first find out who that person is. Second, find out what their interest is. Third, find out what the pain point is. And you're going to be providing all that information on your board.
Okay. Okay. So you're kind of curating all the things about that person in one place so that they then see themselves in that board and then they follow that board.
Exactly. Have you ever gone to a website and then you see a sales page and then you read the copy and then you go, oh my gosh, they are talking to me.
Of course.
I so relate to this. Is
Yeah.
that, you know, I mean, that's the reason why we buy so many things and stuff, because
Yeah.
we read this
We
stuff and say,
see
oh my God, I
ourselves.
so relate to this. And it's the same thing with Pinterest. When you go on and you look at the boards, and the boards, this is something that we're going to be talking about. We have an upcoming challenge that's coming up. It's called the Pinterest 5-day free challenge. And then we have Jason, who's going to be talking about SEO, and that's one of the things that we're going to be covering in the free challenge, on what board should you have and why should you have those boards, and how they are going to be relating to your ideal clients, which is what we're talking about right now, right this second.
Hmm.
So as you know who your ideal target is, your ideal client, it's going to be so much easier for you to create those boards, because you're not going to be creating boards willy-nilly just for the sake of the fact that there's so much information. You're just going to curate it. You're going to be curating things that your ideal client, when they come in, they're going to be, oh my gosh, this is so great. Oh my gosh, I so needed this. Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
you know,
I
this
definitely
recipe is
understand.
so great. Oh my gosh, yes, I so needed that. The next thing you know, so instead of them being on one board and looking at one thing and within 30 seconds they're gone, you are curating things that really applies to them, that's going to keep them on your boards, that's going to keep them to look some more. Because you are curating things that really matters to them. So how do you know that you curating things that matters to them? Research, knowing who this person is. My ideal clients, they are foodies, they are travel addicts, they are readers, they are into social media, they are into marketing and branding. So most of my boards and my personal boards catered to the foodie. Most of my ideal clients, they are not only foodies, they are gastronomers. So I curate things to them that caters to them. So that's the reason why on my personal account that I achieved 36,000 because I followers. But the followers is really not what's important. What's important is getting repin. So I average on my personal, I average over 1.5 million repins in less than 2 months. And the reason why is because I'm curating things that are relatable to them. They are specifically to them. So when they come in, they will see all these items. They see lunch ideas, snack ideas. They see learning things. They see craft things. There's a number of things that I curate especially for them. So when they come here, they look at it and say, oh my gosh, I so needed that.
Makes sense. So let's talk a little bit more about the challenge. So you have a challenge coming up on February 29th. It's a 5-day challenge.
Sorry, it's March 7th. Sorry. It's March 7th.
March 7th. Okay, so tell us more about the challenge. Where can we find information? How can we sign up? Questions?
The challenge, well, the reason why we created the challenge is because there's so many myths out there. So we have become the myth busters. So Jason and I and Regina, we call ourselves the myth busters because there's so many gurus, you know, out there that are reading Mashables and watching YouTube videos and so on and all that stuff. And then they're talking about 80% of women on Pinterest and so on. And it's like, oh my gosh, have they done any research? Because, oh my gosh, because even Pinterest itself, the team itself put out what what's the amount is right now, the ratio of men to women, and still people are still telling you that 80%, you know, so anyways, we wanted to bust those myths of all these old modalities, these old things from 2010. And you know, with technology, things change very quickly and very easily. So when somebody starts telling you about these things, right then and there, I know, I'm like, oh gosh, you've been reading that Mashable Kool-Aid again. You know, and it's like, okay, all right, so it's time for us to really get it. The reason why we're doing this is because people need to understand that it's not a social media platform. It's really a curating platform where you go and get aspiration. What we do, the success, how we become successful is by combining branding, lifestyle, and photography. Because without photography, you cannot tell the story. So you have to understand what photography is. So we are bringing experts that are going to be coming in talking about photography. What is the best way of taking images? Most people think that you have to have a DSLR or you have to know more. Actually, all you need is your smartphone. 90% of my images that I take for my business and for my clients, I just use a smartphone. So we're going to be teaching you those modalities. Then we're going to be teaching you how Pinterest has an IV that goes directly into Google and how to use how to use keyword. Again, those gurus are teaching you modalities that are so old. So what we're going to do is bust that myth on how to use the keywords. Most people are really, our target market currently are really pushing on being on Facebook groups, and Facebook groups are really a great outlet. But that is just one part of that equation. The other part of the equation is they are not maximizing search engine. And I was very shocked that most of the heart-centered businesses that I talked to, and I said, are you using the modalities for you to be on search engine? And they're like, I've never heard of it. And it's like, wow. So we have our work cut out for us, because these are things that we've been using for years and years, and that heart-centered businesses are not using in their business. So therefore, they are, I don't want to use that cliche, leaving money on the table, but what they're doing is they're leaving part of the equation of using search engine to do the heavy lifting for them.
Yes,
they're doing a lot of heavy lifting in groups, but they are not using the other part of it that's really going to give them that juice. So that's what we're going to be teaching. So once you understand about that, the next part is that how do you use description? Everything on Pinterest is about photography. It's about description and using proper keywords. Once you understand that, then we have an expert who's going to be coming in, who's a writer, who's going to be teaching us how to use those keywords and write juicy description. So therefore, that when someone is looking for it, right then and there, you're at the forefront. And then we have another expert that's going to be teaching about how she used Pinterest to get leads. So we're going to have live case studies. So we're not going to have case studies from 2010, 2011, and so on. So it's going to be right on current. That's what you're going to be getting. So the challenge starts on the 7th of March.
What's the website?
It's a 5-day. The website is cascadeavenue.com. /Pinterest-5-day-challenge. So I will give you the link, and then we can put the link on underneath the video, so that way everyone will be able to get it. And also we have some really great prizes coming up, and so you guys will have to come in and sign up and be part of it. The only thing that I can really promise you guys is that what you're going to be learning and you're going to be applying, this is not the type of challenge that you say, well, you know what, I'm going to come in and get the stuff and do it later on. This is the challenge that you're going to be doing right then and there. It's a hands-on challenge. So every day you're going to have things that's going to be prompts, and we have PDFs, we have the experts that are coming in. They're going to be giving you everything you need to get started.
Makes sense.
So that's the type of challenge that we're having. So this is not your regular humdrum challenge where someone comes in and spends 2 hours chit-chatting about nonsense that we have heard 2,100 times already. What we're giving you is the modern Viking. We are the modern Viking. We are the modern myth busters. What we're giving you is current modality. I cannot stress that enough, and I'm going to repeat this over and over again. What we're giving you is current modality. We're teaching you what's currently working, and we're taking you into 2018, even though we're in 2016, we're taking you into 2018, because by the time 2018 comes in and everyone is scrambling around to get these things done, you already have the foundation. The house foundation is there and it's solid, and then you can build on more and more onto it. So that's what we're bringing to you. So
great.
We are the modern Vikings.
So we're going to put the link for the challenge at the bottom of the video, so if anybody wants to go there, they'll be able to sign on. So I want to thank Maggie and Jason for joining us tonight, and I hope that everybody joins the challenge. That's been a lot of information. I know for me, my head is exploding. There's so many information because I didn't know so much about Pinterest before, but it's definitely a great platform, and it's good to know that it's not a social media, so you don't have to feel like you're missing out on the next social media wave. It's something that's here to stay. It's something that you create and you continue to curate. So that's really good to know. So thank you, Maggie, for joining us tonight, and till next time.
Thank you so much. I truly appreciate being here.
Have a great evening.
Real quick.
Jason, you have something to say?
I have something to say. Okay. We went ahead and made a shorter link for your viewers, and you can go to cascadeavenue.com/5 days.
Nice. That's much easier. Yes.
All right.
Perfect. So again, it's cascadeavenue.com/5 days. Perfect. Totally perfect. I am so excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for wanting to know more about it. Oh yes, thank you so much for wanting to know more about Pinterest, I want to leave you with one thing. In case you're wondering, should I be on Pinterest? Let me tell you, Cyber Monday of last year, Pinterest was responsible for 39% of all referrals to a retail store on the internet, which resulted to over $11 billion in sales. So if you're saying that I am a service provider, I am a service provider. I don't have a product. I have a service. So if you're a life coach, a business coach, you're a mindset coach, you're an entrepreneur, you're an author, this is a platform for you. So most people are looking for high-end clients. This is where it is at, because the fact that Pinterest average every 1 out of 3 pins, which is an image on Pinterest, resulted into a sale. So if you're looking to make money and sell, that is the platform. So much. Thank you. It's been really a big pleasure being with you guys.
Same here. Have a good evening, everybody.